Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. This time we circle back to something we've seen a few times to see a new version of it that I didn't know existed until a fellow collector, Luke B, he doesn't want me to even try to say his last name, so Luke B happened to reach out to me saying, hey, I've got this in my collection, I'm unloading it, do you want to pick it up from me? Obviously my answer was, absolutely, because this is kind of another cool variant on something I've always found very cool in a home video collection, primarily because it is an item that doesn't exist in terms of an official retail release. It's an item that only exists at this point on physical media as screeners, but there's several of them, which is weird, and this is a new variant of those. So, I think the first one we ever saw that was a variant of this was actually a screener that was sent to me directly from the History Channel back in the day, or at least their marketing people back in the day. I will cover up the contact information here, though it's certainly wildly out of date. It is Star Wars The Legacy Revealed. This was a DVD-R screener that was sent out to fan sites like mine. At the time I was running StarWarsFanWorks.com as a hub for Star Wars fan audio stuff. It was an unfinished screener, meaning that it was not the finished narration. Sometimes there were puffs on the microphone, and there were, time code and whatnot actually on the screen as you were watching it. It was a chance to see The Legacy Revealed, that really cool special that aired on television but never got, unfortunately, a home video release, which really, really sucks because it is quite a cool little special. It aired on television back in 2007. So, later on, I managed to get my hands on a couple of other screeners for this thing. One of them, and this is just a lone disc, I just keep it in a jewel case here, was this one. This is the press screener for it. Okay, so for press reviews. For your Emmy consideration, Outstanding Nonfiction Special has Star Wars The Legacy Revealed, the History Channel, the ships and everything, but it says for press review only above its legalese. It would seem to be that basically they took the regular label for their Emmy screener and just adapted it with this little built-in, photoshopped-in press screener thing down at the bottom that says for press review only. When they put this out for press review, also in a very limited DVD-R type of run. The most well-known of these screeners, though, is this one, right? This is the one that was the Emmy screener. For your Emmy consideration, may the Force be with you this Emmy season, History Channel, address, all that stuff on the back. Open it up. You're supposed to rip it open, but I did not. I just kind of pulled it open, although it still left some area underneath there damaged. Sometimes you'll see this in the envelope, sometimes just in its little jacket. Jacket there. For your Emmy consideration, Outstanding Nonfiction Special, History Channel, Star Wars Legacy Revealed, the ships there. Same type of thing up here, quick description, images, History Channel. We've seen these before, so I don't want to spend too much time with it. Interior sleeve, cool stuff. And again, very similar to that other one, but since this was an Emmy screener, presumably produced in higher numbers than that press screener, this one was a standard DVD, not a DVD-R. Now, I would have assumed that was it. We covered fan sites, press, and Emmy. What other kind of screeners would there be out there? And it was kind of cool to see a distinction because the Emmy one and the press one were the finished documentary. Finished everything. No time codes on the bottom, some slight editing differences, and the fact that it had the final narration. So it was kind of cool that you can find these online from time to time, but the incredibly difficult one to find in my experience has been the fan site screener, like the one that I wound up getting sent to me that had that unfinished version on it. Unbeknownst to me, there was a fourth, at least a fourth, screener available out there, and it's pretty freaking elaborate. What's strange about it is that while it is elaborate, it's not final. What we're going to see here is a screener for The Legacy Revealed, which again is awesome. If you can get your hands on it, do it. Legacy Revealed is probably one of my favorite behind-the-scenes Star Wars documentary-type specials. But what's weird about it is that what we're going to find is that the DVD for this one, what's on it is the same as the fan site screener, not the Emmy or press screener. In other words, it is an unfinished version of the episode, the exact same unfinished version of the episode that could be found, I just put it in a case like this, that could be found on that fan site screener. So what exactly is it? Why do I keep saying it's more elaborate? It's pretty sweet looking. This was a little bit dinged. I've done some repairs on it to keep certain flaps from flopping open and stuff like that. But it's this. may have seen this in the background on some of my more recent videos. Now, the Darth Vader helmet here, it's magnetized on here. The top, yes, it's supposed to go like this, but over time, poofing out. Star Wars: The Legacy revealed, the History Channel, and History.com underneath it, teeny, teeny, tiny. Nothing on the bottom. This is where it's torn that I fixed it with some double-sided tape, best as I could. Star Wars: The Legacy revealed, History Channel with History.com, and same thing on the other side. The back, some information that we will read, Star Wars: The Legacy revealed, History Channel, and legalese down at the bottom. It is still 2007 legalese, by the way. But what's on the back is basically quotes about Star Wars that are either from the special or from people who are featured in the special. So we have journalist Dan Rather saying, Star Wars resonates out of the best of our classics, Beowulf, Homer, the Bible. Democratic Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. The legacy of George Lucas fits very comfortably among the classics of all time. Whether ancient or modern, the genius who took a story told over and over again in history, in the Bible, in fairy tales, now in outer space. Former Republican House Speaker Newt Gingrich. The idea of the underdog who's on the right side defeating the overdog, I didn't know overdog was a word, who's on the wrong side is a deeply American mythology. Journalist Tom Brokaw. The enduring appeal of Star Wars is it's this vastly entertaining piece of cinema that also leaves you with the idea that there are some real issues out there that we ought to be thinking about. Good and evil, and right and wrong, and heroism. Generations of people a long time from now will be enthralled by it, just as we are enthralled by the story of Robin Hood or King Arthur's court or any of the Shakespearean tales. Professor Joan Breton Connolly. 100 years from now, someone will be sitting here discussing the impact of Star Wars, and they will be seeing different things in it than we are seeing today, just as today we have classics in the university on Homer, or classes in the university on Homer. Filmmaker Kevin Smith. It is bad guys versus good guys, and everyone wants to see that story. That story will never grow tired, never grow old. And Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson, you don't even have to ask, will it stand the test of time? It has, and it will. Open it up, again, magnetize just a little bit underneath. That's where the magnet connects, so you can see the smudge there from the magnet constantly rubbing against it. Star Wars: The Legacy revealed premieres Monday, May 28th. 9 p.m. ET, 9 p.m. Eastern, History Channel with History.com. So this probably explains why it's an unfinished screener, right? Because it was before it came out. Just like the one sent to Fansize was before it came out to promote things, whereas the ones later were about Emmy consideration of the finished product. Everything's down inside here. And take it out somewhat carefully inside. Again, I've tried to do some fixing on the inside with a little piece of like tape across the bottom, so the double-sided tape doesn't have to be the only thing holding that piece on there. There's a t-shirt, a Hanes Heavyweight t-shirt, Star Wars art we've seen before. I'm not going to take it out of the bag. Then there's this little thing. Star Wars: The Legacy revealed, worldwide premiere Monday, May 28th, 9 p.m. Eastern, History Channel with History.com again. The back, History Channel with History.com again with legalese. It's a little, like, foldery kind of thing. It folds open here for you. Okay. On the top is our disc. And it's interesting because this one has a finished, cool-looking disc, whereas the fan site screener did not. And it's a different disc label than what we saw on any of those screeners for Emmy or press. Looks much more like an official release we might have seen, but of course not, because it's a screener. Star Wars: The Legacy revealed. We got Vader versus Luke there. DVD on the side. Underneath, again, the premiere date and History Channel, and legalese running around the edges. Now, this particular disc is kind of scratched up on the bottom. I was able to watch enough of it to figure out it is the same content as the fan screener. And then this is like a little spiral-bound set of information. So we've got this piece here. Says 30 years later, Star Wars, why it endures, why we need it, and why it's still such fun. Star Wars Legacy revealed on the History Channel. And name some of the guests, like Newt Gingrich, Nancy Pelosi, Dan Rather, Peter Jackson, Camille Paglia, and other thought leaders discuss the charm, enduring impact, and mythic underpinnings in a 2-hour special. Premiere date, History Channel. Up here, talks about the enduring appeal of Star Wars. Goes on and on. Saga synopsis here, synopsis of the films up to that point, which of course was Lucas's 6, at least the 6 live action. Interviewees listed. Interestingly, one of the interviewees was J.J. Abrams. we'll see that also on another thing later on in a different episode here. Quotes from various interviewees. And then down here, another little envelope-y looking thing says Star Wars: The Legacy revealed art disc, History Channel. And that's your promotional assets that you might use to promote this on a website. Star Wars: The Legacy reveal art disc with History Channel stuff at the bottom, right? So a CD-ROM here with that content on it. So in that sense, similar to some of the other of this era's various screeners that we have seen over time on this show. So kind of neat here, right? It is a much, much, much more elaborate version of a screener for this. And I wonder who it actually went to. It didn't go to fan sites, presumably, unless this just went to like the best fan sites and I was kind of on like the lower end of the fan sites or something when I received mine. But it also doesn't seem like it went to Emmy people because that was later with that other version, and it may not even have gone to the press because the press had their own version of it, at least later. Which suggests to me maybe this is to the press, but early, as opposed to later when it was heading towards Emmy consideration, it was already aired. Little bit unusual here. I'm not quite sure how to place this one. It's definitely prior to airing. So it's definitely in the same category as the fan site screener, but who exactly it went to me, at this point, is an unknown. If anybody happens to know, it'd be interesting to find out, because I have not found much information about this online at all. This is the only one I've really seen. So my thanks to Luke. This will have a place of honor in my collection. I really, really appreciate it. And with that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers, whether it's retail or screener.